Everyone. My name is William Lugene, and I'm here with Luke Patterson. We're both your system administrators at the Buckles office. And today we're going to be doing our webinar on Buckles app administration. This is something that we've done for all the libraries at the Buckles office, but now we wanted to give the opportunity to everybody in the consortium to kind of customize and change their app the way that they want to for themselves. So let's go ahead and get started. When it comes to our agenda today, we're going to be talking about logging in, library customization, the languages that can be added onto the app, adding and displaying content, the features and integrations that are in the mobile app, being able to send ad hoc push notifications, any upcoming features for the mobile app, and then documentation and help that can be really helpful for making sure you understand how everything works and how you can be able to set up different things within the mobile app. After we go over all of that, we're going to do a Q&A at the end of our webinar, just if you guys have any questions on some of the things that we explained today. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one, which is logging in. In order to log in, we're going to be sending a link to every library. This is going to be the link that you use to get into what is called the CMS. This is the administration platform that Innovative and a company named Solus have worked together to create so that you can be able to customize your app. Once you click into that link, and I'll kind of give an example of how that would work, you're going to be utilizing a administrator account that is going to be specifically for your library. All the login details are going to be shared with the directors. So if you do want to have access to that, if you are a director, you'll be able to have it. And if you're not, you can go ahead and ask your director, and you can go from there when it comes to customizing your version of the app. So just to give you an example of how that would work, here is the mobile app, and this is the URL that we just showed before. It's going to provide you with this login page. And in this case, if I wanted to sign in, we would just be able to type in our credentials into this space right here. Now, let me just get it all set up. Today, we're going to be utilizing the Saddlebrook version of the app. So you'll see right here, the username is Buckles - the abbreviation of your library name. And then we can just put in the specific password that is assigned to it. Once we click sign in, we'll be greeted by this opening welcome screen for the administration platform. I'm going to pass it off to Luke now, though, and he'll go over our next section.
Will mentioned there's a lot of customizing you can do in the app, and beyond kind of just updating the hours, you can do a lot of customizing the colors to match your website or your marketing materials. And it makes sure that, everything looks the same wherever your patron is. So if your patron's on the website or the app, they're going to have that same experience and the same look of everything, which is really helpful for the patron. All right, so the first thing we're going to go over is just updating your hours and contact information. So obviously your contact information won't change very often. It might never change, but your hours you will update, somewhat frequently, and this will show up for all Buckles app users, so like they can look at nearby libraries, and if you're closed, it will show up as closed. So this will show your hours for everyone using the app, and Will's going to show that right now in the CMS.
We're still on this welcome page when you first sign in. The main ways that you're going to navigate through the CMS is through these buttons on the left here that represent different things. When it comes to hours and contact information specifically, we're going to go ahead and click the channels button right here, and it's going to provide you with the name of your library and specifically a link. So if you go ahead and click that link, it's going to bring you to this new menu that shows up. There's a bunch of tabs, but the main things that we're going to focus on when it comes to hours and contact information is the mobile channel settings tab. So if I go ahead and click that, this is where all of your information for your library is going to show up. The main things that you're going to want to focus on is this section where you can be able to change the hours for your library, and then this section, which is all of your information. So this is like Saddlebrook's address for their library, their phone number, their website, and then their email address. So at any time you can go ahead and change that, and that's going to kind of be reflected within the mobile app very quickly. Keep in mind as well that when you do make any changes on your version of the mobile app, the changes are pretty much immediate. And so anything that you change will immediately go live on your app. So if there is any changes or if you want to do any testing, just keep that in mind as you're doing those changes. Going back up to the hours section, it's pretty self-explanatory here too. You just want to match it based on what the day is and then put the hours based on the day. You'll notice here that it is in 24-hour clock standard. So for this example, Saddlebrook is open from 10 in the morning to 8 o'clock p.m. And so they had to put 20:00 or military time. Same thing goes for like Friday, where they would be open from 10 to 5. It would be 10 to 17:00. If you want to make sure that it shows that you're closed on a specific day, you just want to use the 00 to 00 kind of range or option to let the app know that you're not going to be open during that day. All right. So I'm going to pass it back off to Luke, and he's going to go over our next section.
All right. So here's an example of how the Buckles core app looks versus another library. So here we have South Orange. You can see on the left, they did a great job changing the color scheme and everything to match their logo at the top. And other things you can update is the opening logo. When you launch the app, it displays the Buckles logo, but you can also have it display your library's logo and then change it up here as well. We found a lot of patrons enjoy using the mobile wallet, with Apple Pay or Google Pay, and putting their barcode in there. And you can actually change the logo and color scheme there as well. So there's the big one here, and then there's also one here. So you can make the mobile wallet barcode library card look exactly like you have on the physical card. And Will's going to go over that now.
So when it comes to doing specifically the library customization for the colors, logos, and wallet pass, you're going to go back to the menu like you guys have probably seen me do when I canceled out of the hours and contact information section. And on the left, you're going to choose the mobile apps button right there and click that. It's going to give you a same sort of menu where you have to click into your library at that point. And from there, you're going to have this really large menu with a bunch of different things going on. But we'll go over specifically how to do things for customization with colors, logos, and wallet pass. Now, when it comes to your logo, this can be changed right here with the icon image and header image sections right there. You can be able to kind of replace the image that you're going to be uploading to the app. If you click this view button, you'll see this is Saddlebrook's version of their app that's going to be appearing on the app when you kind of load in. So like Luke was mentioning before, as you load in, there's like that really small logo that we're hopefully getting and working to change on, but that's where you can be able to change that logo. And then when it comes to the logo that's going to be at the top of your mobile app, that's where the header image comes into play. And as you can see, here's the view for that as well. So you can be able to kind of customize that and use whatever logo you choose to use for your mobile app and be able to replace it at any time. You can also use this header alignment section to be able to align the header logo in any sort of way that you want. So if you want it to be on the left or on the right, you can do that. We'd recommend just keeping it at the center, but you can be able to kind of customize that depending on what you'd like to do. Scrolling down, we also have this wallet pass section here. The wallet pass is going to have a check mark here. It should have one, and it should be applied to all of your versions of the app. But if it's not, just click the checkbox and contact us so we can help you with getting that set up. So I'm going to go ahead and click Edit Wallet Pass, which is the button right next to it. And this is where you can be able to do a lot of the editing. You can be able to put a specific name on the library card, the description of the library card, your organization name, and then the logo text. And then from here, these are all of the images that are going to be applied onto your kind of digital library card. So same kind of situation here where you can click the view button and be able to see all of the logos that are going to be showing up. So this could be really helpful just to make sure that you have everything kind of set. Please keep in mind, though, that there are dimensions for each photo or image that's going to be on the side here. And you want to make sure that you follow that as closely as possible because The library card can be a little wonky when it comes to displaying certain images that's not the correct dimensions. So you gotta just have to play around with it, kind of see what fits best for you and what makes your library card look the best. From there, there's this section where you can be able to control the colors. We went with the more minimal kind of like all black design for our library cards. So you can see the background is set to black. And then we highlighted it with the purple buckles colors that we use in our logo for the labels. So you can go ahead and do that. And then lastly, there's an option to show the account expiration date. So if you want to have that applied, you can go ahead and check that off. I think that would be really helpful for patrons that want to know when their library card is going to expire. So that should be all good for Wallet Pass. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of here. And the last thing is the default colors. This is where you can be able to kind of make a theme for all of the aspects of your mobile app and all the versions that are going to be available for you. You can change the color and make sure that the background is good and kind of match it towards your library's marketing. You can change the notice button. You can change like the home screen header. Again, it's all about just playing around with it and seeing what color is going to look the best. On the version of the Buckles app, we use purple, but we use sort of like a faded purple, so it's easier to still read some of the things that are on the home screen of the mobile app. So whatever you decide to do, I would definitely just focus on legibility. But again, whatever colors works and kind of fits your marketing is going to be the most important thing in terms of what you decide to do. So that's pretty much it for the default colors. And I'll pass it back off to Luke for our next section now.
We're going to go over is the languages. And additional languages can be selected to match your patron demographic. So what we did is we have kind of the core languages that we set up on every version of the app across the board. And then if there's any additional languages you want to offer to your patrons, you can go in and select those as well. So how it looks when you update the language in the patron settings in the app, if you go into settings, you can select the app language. And then those available languages will be the ones that you select as available to your patrons. So this example is showing Spanish. And you can see here it changes my barcode to Spanish, it changes search to Spanish, and it changes everything up here.
I zoomed in a little bit on this menu just to make it easier for you guys to be able to look at everything. So we're going to stick to this menu. If we go ahead and scroll down, you're going to see there's an option for languages at the bottom. And the same way that we did before with the Wallet Pass, we can just click this Edit Languages button to get to this new menu where we're going to see all of our languages here. These are all selectable. So whatever language you decide to kind of choose, you can be able to set it for your library and your specific demographic. Buckles has kind of a standardized like list of different languages that are available. So when it comes to like the languages that we chose Chinese, English, French. And then I think we're working on getting it passed on to like the other versions of the app, but we also have Hebrew, Japanese, Korean, Polish, Russian, and Spanish. So those are kind of the options that we have set up, but you can choose however many options that you would like. We actually had a question about this in our last session where, why don't we just choose all of the languages? Our main purpose for it was just to make it, more standardized towards what the ILS has set up. And it's also just to not overwhelm the patron with like a huge amount of languages. But if you decide to do that, and if you want to choose that for your version of the library, you're definitely happy to do so. As I scroll down, you'll see that there's also kind of these different translations for the different aspects of the app that are going to be changed. And so this can be really helpful to kind of look at. These options can be changed to fit what your needs are as well. In terms of the wording, just keep in mind that if you do change anything in English, then you're going to have to translate it into the other languages as well. So this is going to be just really helpful to see the differences and kind of spot check, any languages that are being translated based on what you've said. So that's going to be really helpful to use there. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it back off to Luke, and he'll go over our next section now.
So when you go to add content, there's a lot of different forms of content you can add. Obviously, there's just a link, a live web page, but you can also do things such as adding a PDF if you have the library terms of service you want to upload or any sort of policies. That's usually best in a PDF document. You can also add content such as a RSS newsfeed to link your newsfeed on your website to the app. So that way it's streaming there and you don't need to update it in both places. You can also add movies or pictures, even PowerPoint. So there's a lot of different content you can add. And I think the newsfeed would be most useful if you can connect that to your website's newsfeed. All right, so we're going to show you an example of just a live web page. So this is Jersey Clicks, and this will be good for adding any sort of link you want to external databases or external resources that are just linking to another website. And in terms of displaying content, you can see here this app in the middle is showing a lot of different ways the menus put together and different ways to showcase various areas of the app home screen. So the first thing we'll cover is this section on the left, highlights. So highlights go up right under the search bar at the top. My barcode is considered a highlight because that's something your patron is going to always be using, unless they use the Apple Wallet or Android Pay, Google Pay. But highlights are essentially anything you want to put front and center at the very top of the app to give your patron the visibility for it. So types of highlights you can have is checkouts, anything that's overdue, anything that's checked out that's due soon, holds that are ready for pickup, and even the expiration date. Next up is an example over here of a book carousel. So on the Buckles home app, before a patron logs into a specific library, we have the New York Times bestsellers for fiction and nonfiction. So if you want to kind of look what a carousel looks like in the app before adding it, what you can do is just log out of the app and open it and go to the Buckles home app, and it will have the New York Times carousels there. And what you can do in your version of the app is to add your own carousels. If you're promoting something for a certain month or a week, you can put those up as well. Next up are another type of tabs. So one is kind of an events tab here, and it's classic events carousel. And you can see here it's highlighting a program at the library with an image. And these can kind of be toggle through like a showcase, but it's showing events. And then there's some other examples down here. One interesting thing is the Nuggets tab. It kind of groups links into little boxes here. So that way you're putting all your social media links kind of in one box, and they're not taking up whole sections of the app. And this kind of reflects what other websites and apps usually have for social media. All right, so you can see here there's tons of different tabs you can display. We're not going to go through them all, but we'll show a couple examples. So this is the main page of the app, and these are channel list tabs. And you can see here digital content then can link out to more resources. Hoopla is actually can be integrated with the app, so we're going to show you how that works in a little bit. But you can see here you can have a social tab instead of doing those nuggets that then goes to a page with all the social media links here. And then online resources, you can see it's giving links to Canopy with a description as well as Morningstar with a description. But there's a lot of things you can do here. And as you get into using it, you can test different things. All right, so now Will's going to kind of show this all on the CMS side of things.
Content and displaying content. It's definitely a good amount of stuff. I'm just going to scroll all the way down to cancel out of this language page. It definitely is a bunch of different customizations and things that you can be able to do. It's doing that again. So it's going to take a bit of time to kind of get an understanding of it. I'll go slowly with it and kind of explain how you can be able to set it up. But once you get an understanding, I think it's pretty intuitive and simple in terms of how you can be able to display content on your version of the mobile app. So when it comes to actually adding content to your mobile app, you're going to go over to the left side of the screen here where your menu is, and you're going to go ahead and click Content. Once that finishes loading up, it's going to bring you to this section where it's going to list all of Saddlebrook's content or links that are available on the version of their mobile app. So this is where you can be able to do a number of different things. From here, you can click on this Add New Content button to add any new content you want to apply to your mobile app. And it's going to provide you with that same screen that Luke was mentioning and showing in the slide that we just saw. For this example, I'm just going to do a live web page, which is essentially just a link that you can add to your version of the mobile app. From here, there's a bunch of different things that you can do, but it's pretty kind of like straightforward with it. All you need to do from here is type in the name of the content that you're going to be adding, as well as the web URL. So, for example, let's say that Saddlebrook wants to add Freegal Music because that's a new service that they obtained. From there, they can go into the little name dropdown or name kind of box here, and they can type in Freegal Music. Now, what we essentially decided to do is we wanted to make it more consistent when it comes to the framing or the phrasing of the name, but you can do it however you want. For us, we did Buckles Libraries. Then we typed in the name of the library. And then we typed in the name of the service that's going to be used as the content. And then when it comes to the URL, you can just paste in essentially the URL that brings you to the login for Freegal Music for your library, where the patron would probably have to, input credentials or whatever it may be. And you can just set that up so then when they click on this content in the mobile app, it'll bring them straight to that web URL. The last thing that I would recommend is with advanced settings. You just want to make sure that the owner is kind of set up correctly. But I'm not going to create this version right now or this content. But if we were to do that, we can just go ahead and click the create button from here, and it'll have the content be ready to utilize in the next section that I'm going to show you. So I'm going to cancel out of this. And again, these are the list of all the different contents that Saddlebrook has. Now, when it comes to displaying the content, you're going to go back actually to that mobile apps button, and which is going to bring you to this menu. And the main way that you're going to be displaying content is in this little box here. Now, the way that I like to see the box is it's kind of the same way that Windows uses their file explorer. There's a bunch of different folders, and they expand into more different like files and kind of types that are inside of that folder. This is kind of the same way. So in the beginning or at the top, you're going to see that this is the home screen. So this folder houses everything that's going to be on your mobile app's home screen. If I click this plus button to expand it, these are all of the different buttons that are on the home screen at that point. So you can see if we were looking at kind of like those buttons on the mobile app before, you have scan ISBN barcode, nearest libraries, my account, digital content, your social media links, what's on, and then online resources. And then if we click into them, you'll see as I click on them, it kind of lights up with orange, and then you can click the edit tab button to get access to more of the customization of that specific thing. So for example, you have your title scan ISBN barcode, which is what is going to appear actually on the mobile app. And then you have a little subtitle that can describe what this button is going to be utilized for. And then as you can see here, there's a tab type here for library search, which is what is specifically being used for the scan ISBN barcode option. So I wouldn't change this just because it's a really specific use case for your mobile app. However, there's a few different ways that you can be able to change the tab type depending on if it's an actual customization. Another example for here is nearest libraries. If we click edit tab there, you'll see that the tab type is set to channel list, because once you click into it, it's going to provide you with the list of the different libraries across the consortium. So let's go ahead and go over one that we can actually customize. So you'll see here that digital content has this little plus expansion button as well. If I click into that, you'll see that Hoopla and Overdrive are kind of housed within this digital content folder. That is happening because if the patron were to click the digital content button on your home screen, it'll bring them to a new menu where they can choose either between Hoopla or Overdrive to use as their digital content kind of service. So if I click into this and hit the edit tab button, here is digital content. Here is the subtitle that shows up here. This thing keeps popping up, but this is actually important as well. The CMS allows you to kind of select whatever icon you want to have applied onto your mobile app. So you can be able to do that as well. Oh, there we go. So you can be able to use that as well. And then if we scroll down, you'll see that this is also a channel list because of the fact that it's, again, housing something when you press the button to get into it. And if I cancel out of here and then actually click into one of those digital content contents, you'll see here that if I edit the tab, similar situation, you have Hoopla, you have the subtitle that describes what Hoopla is, but this is a content item. And you can see that it's specifically using the version of Saddlebrooks Hoopla to be able to kind of display that as the content. If I click here, because it's a content item, I can essentially choose any sort of content that's been set up for Saddlebrook. So you can see there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's LinkedIn Learning, and those are all housed in different parts of the home screen. If you want to change the tab type, you can click this top kind of drop-down menu, and you'll see here are all the other options that we were showing in the slide. So there's channel list right there. There's, library search, library login, reading tracker, printers, whatever you choose to kind of like have set up for the content for that specific part. So I'm going to cancel out of this. And that's how you can be able to essentially add all of that content right there. If you do want to actually add Frigo music in this case, based on the content that we made, what we can do is if I wanted to say put it into the online resources folder, I can be able to click into that folder. I'm going to actually click the online resource folder itself. And then at the top, you'll see there's these two buttons that are kind of folder icons. One has a yellow star and one has a red X. If I want to add a folder, I can click the yellow star one. And we're going to type in Frigo Music for our new tab. If I were to go ahead and hit create, you'll see now that Frigo Music is now its own option. From there, I can click into the Frigo Music tab, type in the subtitle for the specific service that I'm setting up. And then from there, we can choose content item and then add the Frigo Music content if we had created it before. From there, it should be able to lead the patron to the Frigo Music URL that we set in that content before. So that's a really great option, and it's pretty simple just to add that specific content to your home screen. Now, if you don't want it anymore, you can click the Frigo Music folder from that point, and then you can click the red X folder button to then delete it from the mobile app. Now, I do want to also mention this again. Any changes that you make on the mobile app is going to go live immediately, so you just want to keep that in mind as you're adding different things. So I wanted to make sure I deleted that from Saddlebrook's account so they don't, wonder why Frigo Music is there. The last thing that I want to kind of show is organizing the different aspects of content within the home screen as well. Now, we're in the social media folder where we have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If I wanted Instagram to be above Facebook so that that can be the first social media link that is shown to the patron, I can actually click the folder and we're going to drag and drop it into the appropriate place that we want. So if I want Instagram to be above Facebook, you'll see as I'm kind of moving it, there's these little lines that show up. I want to use those lines as kind of my guidelines to see and kind of place it above Facebook. And as you can see right there, the lines are kind of pointing down. So if I were to just release it, Instagram is now going to be above Facebook, and that changes the organization of the content that's in that folder. So you can choose to do that however you would like and organize it to make it kind of fit what you want your patron to see the most and quickly. The same thing goes for even these big folders. So if you want online resources to be at the top, you can do that as well. If you want nearest libraries to be at the bottom, you can do that as well. And then if you all ever want to change it back, you just have to drag and drop it back, and then it'll go back to its original place. So that's pretty much it for kind of the customization of content and displaying. It's a lot of information, but I think that as you practice it and read the documentation, you'll see how intuitive and easy it is to get that all set up. So I'm going to pass it back off to Luke, and he's going to go into our next section.
So the next section is features and integrations. The big one they just came out with is Hoopla, which allows you to have Hoopla as a drop-down option in the search area, and it will let you search Hoopla records within the Buckles app. You can also place holds for Hoopla in the Buckles app and view checkouts for Hoopla in the Buckles app. So the goal over the long term is to have the Buckles app be the center of everything the patron does. I think more and more people, I personally don't have a computer at home. I just have my phone. So I think a lot of people are moving towards just having a phone. And the app is really the front and center area patrons can use for libraries, now and going forward. So the more we can integrate third-party integrations into the Buckles app natively, so the patron doesn't have to leave and go to other apps, that will be really helpful. So Hoopla, you're able to search it and then view the holds and the checkouts all together in the Buckles app. And then when you actually go to the content, it opens in Hoopla. So it's a really seamless experience. Just know that Hoopla searching doesn't intermix catalog searching. So you have to select Hoopla and it just searches Hoopla, or you select the catalog and it's just searching the catalog. Other options you can do is if you use print for printing. And then another one at the bottom is self-checkout. That's fee-based, but it is a pretty affordable subscription. And it allows, once it's implemented and set up, it allows patrons to check out items using the Buckles app. So they just scan the item and they can walk out with those items. It also provides a receipt. So if you want to check the receipt at the door, to make sure everything was checked out, you can do that as well. And then it goes and changes the status to checked out, and it goes on the patron's record. And then there's also one stack map integration if you use that third party as well. All right, next is push notifications. So if you use any app, pretty much you're going to see on your notification center on your iPhone or Android device, you're going to see notifications. I wake up every morning to a bunch. I silence them at night, and then they all kind of flood in. So Buckles app can do the same thing and send notifications to the phone itself, which I think will be really useful. Ad hoc just means, on-demand notifications you can send to patrons if there's any important news or alerts that you want to tell them about, such as inclement weather or a program that's they might want to sign up for. And just to be clear, patrons need to opt into notifications in the settings of the app. So in the settings, you can, if you want to check it on your app right now, you go in and you go to settings, and there's a toggle to get notifications for library news. So once patrons are opted in, then the phone itself and how they have that set up will determine how it comes up on the phone. So some phones, you can set notifications to be in the background or silenced, and then some will pop up immediately. So it all depends on how the patron has their phone set up. So no patron is going to be, startled or upset if they get a notice from Buckles, because it's going to all be based on their settings. And then once they're in the app, this example for Wyckoff, every app has a bell icon. So the notice will also show up here. And if they click the bell icon, this is a test we did that just says test, and the message is test message. But this is where all of the patrons' notifications would show up within the app, and this is how it would show up on the phone itself. And Will is going to show that now in the CMS.
We're going to stick to this same menu that we were on for essentially the whole webinar here. And when it comes to notifications, we're going to go to this section right here. Now, you'll notice again, we have that check mark. So if it's not checked on your version of the app, please let us know and we'll be happy to kind of help that set up for you. From here, we can click the Edit Notifications button, and you'll be greeted by this screen. Right now, we don't have any notifications that are being sent out by Saddlebrook. So if you wanted to add a new notification, we can go ahead and click there. From here, we'll have this new menu where we can set up our notification. So let's say, for example, that we want to set up a message for library emergency closing. You'll see that the mobile app sometimes saves the title or certain names or phrases that you've typed before. So we can go ahead and just click library emergency closing. And then for our message body, let's say something like the library will be closing early today due to inclement weather. All right, so once that's all set up, there's a few things that we can look at here at the bottom. First off, you have the action. You're going to leave this as app home screen. There are other options here, but I would recommend just keeping it to the app home screen because from there, it'll actually send it to that bell icon that Luke was mentioning before, as well as send a notification to your phone if you have it set up to be able to do so. When it comes to the audience as well, you'll see there's an option for all users of the app. I want to make sure that this is clear when it comes to that sort of phrase. It's sending it specifically to all users of the Saddlebrook app, if we were to use this as an example. So anytime you do send out a notification, it's only going to be sent directly to your patrons that are logged in and have your library's version of the app on their phone. So it's not going to send it to everybody within the consortium. So keep that in mind, and hopefully that'll kind of help with making sure that you know that it's only going to your patrons. From there, you have your last section here, which is where you can be able to time and define when you want this notification to be sent. So you can schedule it here. You'll notice that they have like a European date and time sort of like section here. So you just want to kind of keep that in mind when you're setting up the date. This is the day, and then this is the month. Solus is a European company, so that's why it's set up like that. And then you can also set the time here as well. It's still in that same 24-hour kind of standard, so just keep that in mind when you're setting that up too. If you just want to send the notification immediately, however, you can just click this little button here for immediately, and it'll send it as soon as you click the send button here. So definitely a great option to be able to communicate with your patrons en masse, and I think it'll be really helpful to have that option for whenever something is happening with your library or you want your patrons to know something. So that's pretty much it for the ad hoc notifications. But go ahead and cancel out of here. Any notifications that you send are going to appear here as well, so you can be able to track that. So I'm going to pass it back off to Luke, and he's going to go over the next section.
Just to kind of finish up, these are upcoming features. And again, we really think the app will be the center of the library, in the future. So you can follow along with everything in the Vega product portal, since the app is part of the Vega suite under mobile. And here's what I was talking about with account-related push notifications. So hold notices and reminders will also be, it's in beta now, so it should be coming out soon, where patrons can get all their hold notices as push notifications in the app, which will be a seamless experience. Everything's all in one spot. And then one, shout out for Idea Exchange. A lot of these features are implemented based on votes, and Innovative kind of uses it's a democracy type system where everyone votes who uses Innovative across the country of what features they want in Idea Exchange. So the monthly Idea Exchange message that we send directors every month has a tab in the spreadsheet for each product. So we have one for Discover, and we have one for Vega Mobile and the mobile app. So I just encourage everyone to check out the mobile app and vote, since I think if everyone in Buckles voted, it would be implemented really soon. So we can use the size of the consortium to our advantage here. Now, in terms of documentation, this is a link for the app developer Solus that has all the documentation that we covered today. It's searchable. It's a great resource to use as you're customizing your app. You can always reference this for advice and how to do things. And then, of course, we have Buckle support form, and the mobile app is a section here in the support form. And just to be clear, if you still want Buckles to manage your app 100%, we can always help you and make any changes you want on your behalf. So if you do start doing this and you decide you don't like it, or there's not enough time to do it at your library, you can always send support tickets and we'll make any changes for you. We just wanted to give libraries the choice to be able to do it in-house if they wanted to. All the app statistics are posted monthly in Buckles Connect.